Fine. Zino wants to talk about the anniversary of the January 6th resurrection. Insurrection.
The resurrection. Are we talking about JFK Jr. coming back in Dealey Plaza?
JFK. Well, we're talking about the January 6th Matrix resurrection. Resurrection.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying. Anyways, come on.
That word is really tripping you up.
It is. It's like revolution. No, resolution.
Revolutionary. So, guys, it is January 11th right now. No, is it? No, January. It's January.
It's January 11th.
It's January 11th. Okay. The January 6th was this past Thursday, which is the 1-year anniversary of not only the certifying of Joe Biden's election win over Donald Trump in 2020, but also when Trump supporters breached the Capitol and started like banging on doors and trying to stop the counting of the electoral college votes. A really sordid day in American democracy, but you wouldn't know it if all you watched was right-wing news, because apparently nothing happened that day. Mm-hmm. So one thing I wanted to talk about with regards to January 6th was Ted Cruz. So a couple of days before January 6th, 2022, Ted Cruz was on the Senate floor talking about the fact that the anniversary was coming up, and he referred to it as an anniversary of a terrorist attack on our nation's capital. Something that reasonable people who had a television and saw it that day would be like, yeah, okay, it's making sense. Because a terrorist attack, right? Not to be Webster's dictionary about it, but basically you take violent action to force an outcome, or to like terrorize people into doing the outcome that you want, right? Mm-hmm. That's what that was on January 6, 2021. These people were trying to force their way in there. They put up gallows saying hang Mike Pence. They were looking for Nancy Pelosi to attack her. They were looking for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to attack her. What is that if not a terrorist attack? They bludgeoned an officer to death. Mm-hmm. People died, but it's not.
And what's it called? It was such a shocking event that there's officers still killing themselves from that day.
Yeah, they still have trauma from that day.
Yeah.
So if that's not a terrorist attack, what is? So anyway, so he says it's a terrorist attack. Then all of right-wing media is like getting on Ted Cruz's case for calling it a terrorist attack. Apparently, he's playing right into the Democrats' hands.
He said the quiet part out loud.
Right. Why are you playing into the other side's hands? Right, the other side, and things like that. So Ted Cruz, saw a segment on Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson talking about, Ted Cruz playing into their hands. And he texted Tucker Carlson, because they all have each other's numbers, and he was like, "Hey, I want to come on and clear the air." So Tucker Carlson brought him on, and Ted Cruz, did this groveling thing. Well, I misspoke. It wasn't how it was meant to come out. He's like,
I like your Ted Cruz impersonation.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson was like, I don't believe you. I've known you for a long time. You're very deliberate about what you say. I was like, yes, but I'm not saying all Trump supporters. By the way, Ted Cruz sounds nothing like that, but that's how he sounds in my head, because
he sounds like that.
Yeah, he's an Igor. So so he was like, well, I'm not saying all Trump supporters or terrorists or whatever. Which, by the way, no one was saying that you were saying all Trump supporters were terrorists. You were just saying common sense. If you attack the nation's capital when you're trying to,
I'm just gonna say it hit doggone Holland.
But you know what I saw in that clip? And Zeus watched the clip prior to the show, and I'll get your take on it in a bit. What I saw in that clip was were two people that are trying to be president. Because I bet you $1 million. No, not $1 million. $1 million.
I was like, hey, let's do it.
I bet you $1 million that BUTS, that Tucker Carlson runs for president in 2024. And I think part of that was being like, hey, people, this guy is a phony. this guy's a rhino. I'm a real Republican, and I'm gonna bring him to task. This is how I'm gonna be in a debate. That's what
And
I
then
saw.
Jon Stewart will run just to get him canceled again. Because you remember how you got him canceled from that NBC show.
Yeah. So that's what I saw. It was brazen. It was stupid. What are your thoughts on that?
My first initial thought is to cuss you out for making me have to watch two of the people who I found to be just honestly, just two of the most punchable faces that I've ever have seen. Everyone already knows that I think Ted Cruz is trash.
He's a weasel.
He's a weasel. Yeah. There was a good portion of my life where I was spending like anytime I saw Ted Cruz tweet, I don't know what I said. I think what I was telling him, shut the fuck up. If I'm not mistaken. Shut the fuck up, Ted Cruz. Just because it's horrible. Yeah, okay, guys. Listen, I'm not a politician. I am a little immature sometimes. But anyways, as far as that, honestly, what I loved about it was one thing that I kind of found a little bit disturbing was that it makes me wonder if Tucker Carlson is doing what all Republicans are doing, which is making sure to rein in anybody who might say something that's a bit of an outlier. You know what I mean? Like, because they're the only, they can do that. Yeah, they can do that. They can do that because one thing that I remember we talked about recently was I messaged you yesterday was John Ossoff speaking against what was it? Not voter trading.
Stock trading amongst senators.
And that he was saying that it shouldn't be allowed. And the thing that people were talking about was how Nancy Pelosi hated that. But the thing is, even if Nancy Pelosi does hate that, she's a Democrat. She can't really rein. She can, but certain things she knows she can't rein in because she also has to have the opinion of the people. Whereas Republicans know, hey, it doesn't matter how outlandish we are. You saw people changing their ethics right in front of our face when Donald Trump ran. The Republican Party had a particular set of values. It was supposed to be the family values party or whatever. They had a particular set of values, and you literally saw it change in front of your eyes. That a certain part of ethics and these are our friends. We might have friends that are like this, that their ethics all of a sudden change, that they could be these horrid people, or at least I'm not a horrible person. I just believe what this horrible person is saying. You know what I mean?
Or I'm not a horrible person, but I am going to look the other way at what this. Yeah.
And that's what the Republican Party is doing, and that's what they did. That's what you saw with Tucker Carlson having to rein. I'm reining in my friend, bringing him in. But now that you say what you just said, because you're right, Ted Cruz is going to continue to run for president, despite the fact that nobody, I don't even think his wife cares for him. So nobody cares for Ted Cruz. Why? I don't know why the hell the state of Texas continues to vote his dumbass in.
The only reason he wins in Texas is because he has an R in front of his name. Though, with this thing that just happened, if he gets primaried, who knows? But if he gets primaried by someone that is, relatively known, who knows? Something could happen there.
But what you said, I never thought about that. That maybe I would love to see Tucker Carlson run for president because it would be absolutely hilarious.
If he wins, though, that's, I think, more so than anyone else on TV. I think he's like a proper.
One thing that I think Tucker Carlson lacks that Donald Trump did, because Donald Trump, you can't tell me that he doesn't have this. Donald Trump, say what you say, has charisma. He has a certain charisma. He has a certain delivery. And honestly, even though some of the shit that he says is horrible, he also is very funny. He can say just from like we've even said it we've laughed at some of the ridiculous. Remember we were talking about him just saying Kamala. It was just like, this guy is such an asshole, but it's one of those like, yo, but you still end up laughing because it's just even though he's an asshole and like it's a horrible thing that he's doing, but you still laugh just because his delivery. So Tucker Carlson has none of that. Tucker Carlson does not have personality. The only people who like him are the people who watch Fox and they're older people. half of the people probably who like him now are probably dead by the time that election comes around. So it's just, I'm sorry, but
how did I know you were gonna say that?
So it's just the one thing is I definitely don't see Tucker Carlson, but then again, I also didn't see Donald Trump winning. So
that's true. But one thing I was gonna say before we wrap up on the Ted Cruz part of this is that the thing you said about Republicans reining in people that step out of line, true. But this is also like using state media to do it, because I'm sorry, Fox News looks a lot like state media in like North Korea and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, don't talk bad about the leader. We'll come after you.
Yeah.
Using your media arm to do that. That's yeah, okay. Doesn't look great. So yeah, I just wanted to point that part out. Then also in the pre-show, you were talking about January 6th as a missed opportunity for the Democrats. You want to expand a little on what you meant there?
So, and this was just between me and you. I honestly think you remember how they were able, the Republican Party was able to spin 9/11 to benefit George Bush.
So basically do anything they wanted to do.
Oh, he had a blank check to do whatever he wanted to do. I don't think the Democrats could do that with January 6th, but they could definitely, and for some reason I feel they try not to, because honestly, the Democratic Party just has no backbone half the time, is January 6th could have been used as a warning and start keeping being used as a warning. I don't think they use it enough as a warning to look, this is what happens when you have a cult of personality. This is what happens when you only vote for somebody because they have an R or they have the letter that you like. It's a dangerous precedent for you to do. They really could be using this. I hate for them to use it as a political tool, but it is something that they should be pinpointing to the whole shit about how, anytime gun violence comes around, they talk about how we're going to take their guns. That never happens. This was literally a case of a president losing his presidency and asking his people to go and try to get it back for him. It was a coup. It was a coup.
And we literally told you for months and weeks prior to the election that this is going to happen. He's going to, if he loses, he's going to say, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And, I thought it could get violent because, we've talked about, I think we talked about the fact that we live in Georgia and there's a bit of concern of someone just being like, what, F it, you have a Biden sticker, I'm going to shoot you. I just didn't think I would see it on this scale, like what we saw on January 6th. It was a shameful thing to watch. But to talk about the, missed opportunity thing, I'm optimistic that this January 6th commission that's going on, which isn't just Democrats too. I mean, it's Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, which I want to remind people, Liz Cheney has one of the most conservative voting records in all of Congress. So if you want to be like, oh, she's a rhino, not when it actually comes to policy, which Republicans seem to have forgotten about, that there's a thing called policies, like we have to govern. So when it comes to policies, Liz Cheney votes with Republicans 95% of the time, I think it is. The person that replaced her, Lisa Stefanik, is like 72%. So she's an actual Republican.
She's considered a neoconservative.
Yeah. So I feel like the stuff that they're uncovering, like those text messages from Sean Hannity and the text messages from all those people to Mark Meadows, basically being like, yo, you got to tell the president to rein it in. Freaking Don Jr. couldn't text his father, but he texted Mark Meadows to say, hey, tell my dad to rein it in. Like, he needs to show leadership now. Like, how about grow a spine and call you dad? But all the stuff they're covering, I think it's a big deal. But for Christ's sake, Merrick Garland has to do something. Merrick Garland can't wait for the committee to be done. He has to be like, look, we've seen enough here to start charging some people. We can see that Steve Bannon was coordinating with people to go to the Capitol that day. We can see that Lynn Woods is doing this and this person is doing that. Show some backbone, Democrats, for frick's sake. And yes, the Attorney General is supposed to be separate. He's not supposed to be political. I get it. This isn't political. This is about democracy. Show some backbone, Merrick Garland. So yeah, that's the other part of January 6th I just wanted to put out there.
And you know what? Even though it's not political, show some anger. Give them some payback for them holding up your Supreme Court justice seat. Like,
yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
you're not on the Supreme Court.
God, being pussies. Who said that? Somebody said that a long time ago about the Democratic Party. I think it was Stephen Colbert.
I know Bill Maher says it all the time.
Yeah, and Stephen Colbert said for a long time, the reason I mock Republicans is because Democrats themselves are already mocking themselves. Like, so it's just, just show some damn backbone for once. But, you know, it's probably not going to happen. And we'll probably have a Republican majority come midterm. So
House and Senate, yeah, more than likely. Okay, so to wrap up, talk about showing some backbone. There's a lot of stuff that the Democrats are not going to be able to pass because in the Senate they've got this thing called the filibuster, where you need 60 people to agree on something for anything to go through. Makes no sense, but whatever. There's currently 50 Democratic senators and 50 Republican senators, with Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker because she's, you know, a Democratic vice president. However, what was I going to say? Yeah. However, the White House has been very, like, you know, against filibuster reform, like, or removing the filibuster, because, you know, Joe Biden is like he's like a veteran of the Senate, right? Since the 70s, like he's just the Senate is like this body that we should respect. Yeah, whatever, Joe. So, but finally today, on MLK's birthday, I think today is his birthday, or at least the celebration of his birthday was today. He finally had a big speech in which he was like, whatever the Democrats need to do to ensure that the minority doesn't keep blocking progress, they should go ahead and do. You know, and if that means filibuster reform, then so be it. And we've been waiting for a full freaking year to hear something like that. So now, the only other thing that we need is for Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema to be on board. Which, as we know, that's going to be a tall order because Joe Manchin already killed the Build Back Better plan, which is.
Well, they should have done. They should do what Bernie Sanders said. Bernie Sanders said they should vote by issue. It was like basically dismantle the bill.
Like just do it piece by piece.
Piece by piece. Vote for it piece by piece. He's like.
I think they should. Well, before they even do that, I think they should put the Build Back Better Act to a vote. Because one thing that they hate doing is they hate putting something to a vote if they know it's going to fail. But I'm like, put it to a vote because make Joe Manchin vote against it. And we've seen in West Virginia that I think it's the coal mining union. The coal mining union has put out an op-ed saying that they are in favor of the Build Back Better Act. So all this thing that he's saying that, I don't know how to go back to the people of West Virginia.
I don't give a damn about the people from West Virginia.
How do I tell them that I voted for this or whatever? They want you to vote for it. They want you to. The child tax credits, the credits for like education and all that stuff. They want it. They want you to build their roads. Your state is one of the poorest states. They want it. So it's not about them. It's about your donors. Yeah. And you know
exactly. Joe Manchin is trash.
Yeah. So anyway, filibuster reform, hope it gets through because we're tired of Republicans in the minority blocking things all the freaking time. And yeah, that wraps up for the politics section. Anything you want to say to lead us out?
This was a fun note to end it on. As always, I love it when we end our shows on political parts. It's always fun. Yeah, man. Well, Happy New Year's. Welcome 2022. And hopefully this will be an exciting ZZ Talk year.
Yeah.
And hopefully more shows for you guys. Hopefully it doesn't we're gonna stop this whole once a month and might go to 1.5 per month.
Yeah, and on his note about hopefully more shows, we actually do have a show planned, in quotation marks, next week. It's one of our ZZ features. We haven't done those one of those in a while, so we're excited about that. I'll leave the details for when we actually film the show. It's next Thursday. Thursday the 9th,
Coming
20th.
soon. Coming soon to a podcast near you.
All right, guys. As usual, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, man. Like this is your favorite podcast or your favorite
Exactly.
YouTube. Yeah.
Peace out.
All right. That's a wrap.